What's up, everybody? Moses here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the new Torchlight Frontier. I got into the alpha. It's currently in closed alpha. You got to get an invite, and I kind of like wanted to go through the game. We're not going to go too deep into the details. It's just kind of like a short as I can make it review video talking about the two classes that I got to play so far and kind of like general impressions from the game. So I got two characters. This guy is a Dusk Mage and this guy is a Forged. So these are two out of the three classes that are currently in the game. So let's get in here. So yeah, I've been playing this game in the past couple of days. It's been a lot of fun. I haven't played any of the Torchlight games before. Oh, it seems like I finished the quest.
Don't be shy. You've received a quest.
So this is like an ARPG that is also an MMO. I believe it's going to be like an open world kind of deal. And so yeah, so this is my character. Let's just go through. And yeah, at the moment you got like 9 item slots. You can carry 20 potions in total. You cannot carry more than that. And this is the Dusk Mage. So you have basically two skulls of magic. You have your dark and your light magic, and you have your relic weapon. So every character has its own relic weapon, and it's basically currently serves as a sort of a damage buff with a 1 minute cooldown. So when you press your blood frenzy, it will increase your overall damage by 15%, and when you perform auto attacks, you'll be using your relic weapon that will have these skills right here that we're not going to go through in too much detail because right now they seem a little bit kind of lackluster. But the focus here is on the light and dark skills. This is what makes the Dusk Mage, and the relic weapon. I'm equipping the same relic weapon on my other class, so it's something that you kind of like craft, and throughout the game, at the moment, you'll gain access to 3 relic weapons, and all 3 of them will do different kind of things. So yeah, the light and the dark skills are working in this kind of way. So these are like arcane type dark skills, and when you are, when you're spending, your resource with these skills, what will happen is when you hit enemies, it will, if you're using your dark skills, it will raise the light skills bar, and this is kind of like a damage buff to all your light skills. And when you're hitting with your light skills, it will increase this bar right here, and this will give you a damage bonus to the dark skills. So basically, as you're playing, you're going to be using dark skills and light skills, rotating between the two, and this is your energy, right, your mana, and you'll have to manage that as well. So yeah, let's that's basically the concept of the Dusk Mage. There are all sorts of other details that I don't really want to focus too much. I just kind of like want to show you a little bit of gameplay. So let's go. I don't know, here. So yeah, because it's the alpha, you got a lot of things that are overtuned. So sometimes elites just like take forever to kill. So I tried to go into a little bit of a lower. It's not really lower. I'm like 13 right now, so this area is 13 to 16. Snotskin Village. We'll just kill some monsters and so you guys can see the gameplay. So far, the one thing, I've been playing yesterday and the day before yesterday, about 5.5 hours on the Mage and about 8 hours or 7.5 hours on the Forged. I've had a blast, but these loading times is one thing that I noticed just take too much time. Obviously, again, this is alpha, so hopefully, things will get better as the game, progresses. And, so see, I used my Holy Fury. This is a light skill, and my, dark skill bar is now full. And we can do that, and we have this guy, and we have also this guy. So basically, the current skills I'm using are, dark spears. It will create these dark spear area of effect that will slow down enemies and deal damage over time. So you could, it has short cooldown. So you could, in the meanwhile, spam your entropy, which is kind of like arcane ball shooting all sorts of spikes all over the place with a short cooldown as well, and your unholy bolts, which is just like an RNG based, triple projectile of dark matter, which is one of your initial skills. This is a luminous run. It will allow you phasing, which is going through enemies. And yeah, you can collect some materials, you build stuff, you got like wood and tin and boulders and whatnot. So yeah, when we pop our oh nice. When we pop our weapon, we have now a 30-second damage buff. I generally use it on cooldown. I don't really pay too much attention to when I'm using it currently. It just doesn't make sense to wait, because 1 minute cooldown is such a short cooldown, and 30-second buff is kind of a long duration buff. So yeah, we're just kind of like taking a walk in this place to just kind of like show you kind of like how the game looks like, the little animation. I really do like how the game looks like. It is cartoonish, but yeah, this is Torchlight. I haven't ever played any of the previous ones, and I found myself like actually quite fascinated with these little goblins, and the game is pretty difficult. So yeah, it feels pretty good, and I've been having kind of a good time, streaming this game in the past couple of days, and we're probably gonna continue. I'm not yet sure what is the limit of the alpha, like how much content we actually get to see. This is one of the later zones. I got to to get to, and so I'm not really entirely sure. What the end, if there's like an end boss and end to the alpha, there's like a whole bunch of things that we, obviously don't yet know, because it's still pretty early, I believe, in the development stages. And I've heard, people told me that they're going to release in 2019, which is this year, and I'm not entirely sure about that. So yeah, this is not your Path of Exile, Diablo, speed farm, grindfest type of game. It's weird. I was kind of hoping to catch an elite back, and all I saw is kind of like just trash monsters. So I wanted to kind of like show you. Maybe there's a guy here on the bridge. Yesterday there was a guy here on the bridge, an elite guy. So yeah, the thing about the mage is that you lose your mana pretty quickly, but it also regenerates pretty quickly. It's a different kind of playstyle. It's a bit slower, and a bit more, you really gotta kind of like pay attention to what you're doing. Also, you noticed I have a pet, this guy right here, Miguel, and this is your inventory. You can press X and send these items to your pet, and you can send your pet to town to sell your items, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's go through kind of like the skill tree again to kind of like show you how it looks like. You got your Holy Fury. There's also Absolver. I've tried all sorts of skills. This is Absolver. It just destroys your mana. As you saw, I'm like immediately out of mana. So you can only use it 3 times. It feels kind of bad to, stop what you're doing and wait for your mana to regen. I'm just not using that. Because of that, Holy Fury is pretty massive in terms of damage, and seems to be the best. Out of 3, you got your Holy Bolt, but Holy Bolt is just like one Absolver, and yeah, it's not very impactful. I haven't used this skill basically since I've gotten Holy Fury. And then you got your Luminous Run that just allows you to escape. It gives you a short boost, movement speed boost. Oh, there was an elite guy here. There you go. And yeah, your mage is not too shy, right? He can attack with his weapon as well. So yeah, these guys are level 15, but we're destroying them and dropping some loot. Seems good. So yeah, things respawn here because this is like the open world side of the game, but there's also little caves, Gobtown, Gobkill Canyon, Haunted Cemetery, where you can encounter goblins and undead and all these kinds of creatures. So yeah, what was yeah, all right. So you got your light skills, and with the dark skills currently I only have the Unholy Bolt, the Entropy, and Dark Spears as I've shown. There's question marks for unknown skills. When we level up, this says requires 15 points in light skill requires. So currently we have the 1, and when we level up we pick up 1 skill point and we distribute it wherever we may want. There's some synergies. Holy Fury mana cost, Dark Skill mana cost. So the more you level up, the less mana things cost, which is pretty good because that will later on, I'm sure, provide a bit more fluency in your gameplay. And yeah, so let's level up our Holy Fury. And yeah, these are kind of like our stats. There's an entire stat sheet with a whole bunch of stats right here. These come from all sorts of secondary stats on items, and yeah, currently you got your goblin defense, your Netherim, which is different monster type, and fire defense. And I don't have any physical defense, which is pretty bad. But yeah, my gear is pretty bad on this guy. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, so this was the mage. I did show you a little bit of an elite we had there. Let's go back to the character select. There's quests on the side and all that kind of stuff. And this is the Forged. Now, the Forged is by far way, way, way better class in terms of like sheer strength. Let's go to my fort because there seemed to be an issue when you disconnect, you lose your pet. And let's try and retrieve our pet from the fort. So the fort is kind of like your hideout. In Path of Exile, it's like your own kind of place. You have your own fort, and you can build structures over there. Oh, we can claim a large pile of sandstone blocks. Sweet. So this takes 4 hours, requires 480, rocks or stones. We could do that with a medium or a small pile, like right now. this will take 90 minutes. So yeah, let's craft it. Now the stonemason is working. You got the same idea here with ash logs. It's pretty good. Small pile. Sure, this takes 30 minutes. So yeah, just let those things be, and it's like a global clock. You don't have to be online for the thing to work. I set these just before I left the game last time. This is your Arcanum. I currently don't know what it does. When you click on it, it doesn't do anything. Automaton Shop. I have to assume it has something to do, perhaps, with the, with like your levels, with like your skills. I saw something in earlier stages of the alpha where it actually did work when you first crafted it. But now it doesn't seem to be doing anything, so I'm not entirely sure. This is your reliquary. You got to craft this guy in order to be able to craft one of these, relic weapons. Like we said, we have 3 of them, and yeah, I don't yet have any of the materials for Bane, which is a staff. I'm not entirely sure what those things are doing, but this is like your another another weapon. Then you have Flaming Destroyer, which requires all sorts of other things. And again, I don't have the materials. And this is like another type of reliquary weapon that we can use, probably providing different kind of buffs. You can build things. This is your Tree of Luck, or Luck Tree. When you level it up by sacrificing items, you get to get permanent, magic find bonus, which is pretty cool. So it was a small little thing, and then we sacrifice some items and we level it up. It takes quite a lot of items to level up. And then here's your Enchanter's Altar. Items here have enchants. So if we look at my equipped item right here, you see it has 2 little sockets, like right here. 181 health, 109 goblin defense, undead and physical defense. These are enchants, and you can craft these enchants if you have an enchant slot. Like in this helmet, I have 2 slots. On this chest and gloves, I only have the 1. And you can get those, which are basically stat bonuses. So if you find things with 2 sockets, potentially later there'll be like 3 sockets, it'll be more powerful because it will have the stats of of the item, and then on top of that you can have other stats. Here we got 181 life, which is a lot. The forge is pretty tanky. I don't know if you noticed, but the mage had 800 and something life. He was level 14, but just 4 more levels, and this guy almost doubles his HP throughout the entirety of the game. The forge was more tanky. This is like your overall damage reduction, which is kind of like a number that combines your damage reduction from your physical, your goblin, your undead, and all that kind of stuff. So basically your stat points, you need to increase these numbers, and that is based on on your gear, right? So we got physical defense here, some chance to block, more. This is our cannon right now. It's got 307 damage. We just swapped for this thing. It requires level 18, and I just turned level 18. So yeah, this weapon is kind of insane. The forge itself can equip a shield, and he's got his sword, and he's got his shield, and this is the damage number that you see right here. But he also has his cannon, and so far you can build for like a warrior type thing, sword and board, but I've chosen to go with the cannon way of building this guy. And as such, I'm basically using the sword and shield just as stat points or stat sticks. I'm never actually using the weapon. Like, I'm never left clicking. So basically this is how it works. Forged has a different kind of resource system. You got your life, of course, and you have your heat, right? So for Forged, you have basically skills that generate heat and skills that expand heat. Rapid fire, coal launch, shotgun blast, these will generate heat. Slug shot, and then over here on Brawl, you know, you have your skills that expand heat. For example, Vortex Bomb. Oh, and also Coal Launch will expand heat. So it's very simple. When he warms up, you shoot your and now you cannot shoot anymore because you're too hot, too much heat. See the red sign, and then you just expand your heat by throwing out a coal launch that immediately, drops all the heat, and so you can shoot some more. So this is a massive AOE, and this allows for a very, kind of like more fluent playstyle because you always have things to do. You don't have to wait until your mana regenerates or anything like that. Now, originally, this skill does have a cooldown. Coal launch, it's supposed to have a cooldown, and currently in the alpha it doesn't. And so you can pretty much freely use your skills. And another skill that you have is Vent Vortex Bomb that kind of like create this AoE surrounding you. This thing does have a cooldown. Enemies are being pulled and it stuns as well. On top of that, I chose Poison Dart. I don't really know. Like, I mean, okay. We have Poison Dart right here, and I can only assume that there will be some other things here that will allow, some synergies, but I don't really see how Poison Dart, on the sidebar, right, how it really fits the entire idea of this guy. But then again, I'm not entirely sure what direction they want to take this guy, and maybe they're just trying it out. Maybe there will be something else here when the game comes out. I don't know. But currently, Poison Dart is a 6-second cooldown skill that generates us some heat and basically just create this area of effect damage over time that lasts for quite a long time, basically 6 seconds throughout the entirety of its duration. So you can have an active damage over time pool of area pool that will damage monsters constantly. So I have it on my bar, but I don't really think that it fits for the entirety of the character's theme, if you want. So there you go. You have your, again, slug shot. This will pierce, and it's a massive shot. It took me a while to unlock this skill. You see it's like here. Before that I was using rapid fire, and this is rapid fire. It does not pierce, but it does do massive damage. It fires rapidly, and it's a very, very fun skill to use. And I tried both of them, rapid fire and slug shot, and I decided slug shot is the one I'm constantly using. See, there's a thing in these type of games, there's no real point a lot of the times to use more than one type of damage dealing skill, right? If you have your slug shot, it is your kind of like auto attack, your main attack. There's no reason to also have rapid fire. One of them will be better. After quite a few testings, I decided slug shot does good AoE because it pierces, and it does deal a lot of cannon damage, and seems to allow just better kind of like playstyle, and feels better. It destroys enemies, and that's the one I decided to end up using compared to rapid fire. So at this point, once you come to that decision, there's no real reason to use rapid fire anymore, right? And on the Forge tree, we could still spec into rapid fire because this allows barrage skill to get bonus to their damage. So currently the skill level is 4, and I'm getting 8.4 global barrage. You know, these are all the barrage skills, right? You got your barrage and you got your brawl. So brawl allows for a bit of a melee kind of like attack, and this attack right here called rapid strike, this one is based on your weapon damage. So there's like a difference between the two kind of like skull of you know, attacks or skills, barrage and brawl. If you look, you see this is based on, you know, 209 to 627% cannon damage, right? So all of those skills here are based on your cannon. That's why I said, you know, the sword and board are kind of like stat sticks, and on brawl things are based on your weapon damage. Right, 5.1% weapon damage per second. You got your cyclone mode. You got your rapid strike is a pretty cool skill because you just punch enemies like that. It is a melee skill, and you generate heat, and then you expand heat. And yeah, I mean, this guy is pretty freaking cool. You gotta admit, he's a pretty cool guy. And then over here, I got my Sonic Pulse. This just makes enemies take 40% more damage and chance to stun them for 1.5 seconds. So it's like a Sonic Pulse that will just give you a big AoE of like scanning and allow you to yeah, deal more damage to enemies for pretty long duration. Okay, another thing is, you know, when you know, this is the forge, this is a hatch, this is the chest. You can, you know, strip him down to his bones, and you kind of like see how the guy looks like without any gear. And then when you put on the gear, it's you know, it changes him entirely. Wait, yeah, this cannot really go down to, yeah, this is not, doesn't really have a representation unless you press W, I guess, and then he wields it. Yeah. So yeah. Cool. He's a pretty cool guy. So yeah, we can equip the stuff on him. You can see this is the cannon hatch. This is like the actual cannon. Shield is not really showing right now. I guess because I have the, you know, the sword. And then crab legs. These are actual legs, right? Chest, shoulders, and gloves. And then over here you have your pet. Oh, that's the reason why I even went. Okay, so you go to your pet smelter and you pick up any one of your pets. This guy is a little familiar guy. He's cute. He's giving us you know, a crit chance buff right here. I'm not sure by how much, but he does give us a crit chance bonus. All right, so let's go fight with this guy against Nutskin Village. And yeah, throughout the entirety of, you know, the past couple of days of playing this game, I've noticed that you know, Forged is like miles ahead of the Dusk Mage. It's kind of a bummer that he's like that much better, but you know, it's just the way things are right now. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to fist their faces. I'm supposed to have I was just showing it because, you know, it is a pretty cool skill. Slug shot on my right click. And you can just drag the skills. It's very easy, kind of like interface. It takes a little bit of, obviously, you know, getting familiar. So pretty much one-shotting things here. And as soon as we're, you know, full on heat, we just expand. We get our coal launch up in the air. Excuse me. And yeah, you can toss your, you know, this is your damage over time dart. You see, it's not like too much, but it is pretty good AoE. And, you know, you can pretty much have it active the entire time. So you can kind of like start with this. You see the you know, monsters around me have this little I don't know what to call it, but see, this guy has a little icon above his head. That means oh, I guess it's a sword. It's a little dagger. So that means that he's debuffed because of the sonic blast or sonic pulse. See, so all these enemies are going to be taking you know, 40% more damage. Gob kill canyon. Let's enter. Just for a little bit to show you a little bit of gameplay, and we call it a wrap. So yeah, there is kind of like a lot of loading times. If you want to go to your fort, if you want to go, currently you can open up portals to either your fort or your travail point, which is kind of like the area where you get all your quests. Not hitting. So yeah, as you see, even if you're not hitting, you still generate heat. Like there are a lot of enemies in this game. Like sometimes zones, I mean, you'll get overwhelmed, you'll get surrounded by enemies. Things can get pretty tough in this game. And I have died a lot. There's a pack here. Fire traps. I think I had... So yeah, there's an elite pack here. You gotta make sure you keep activating your buffs so they take more damage. Drop the poison arrow. So you see, it doesn't really fit the build too much, but I mean, it's a you know, bonus damage over time, so I don't mind having it. Generally, the last guy will drop the loot. So this pack had 5 people, and the last guy is the one that drops the loot. So you gotta kill all of them. You can't just kill the boss. This was a like an elite pack, but you have ones with like, yeah, you see how you can easily get overwhelmed and kind of like destroyed in this game. So you kind of have to pay attention, and they spawn out of nowhere. What is this? Blur Edge. I think I just found a legendary sword. Ooh, I did. I only found a handful of legendaries in this game. They're not very frequent, like literally handful, less than 5. This is one of them. I had it from level 9 or 8. I still couldn't find anything better. And then excuse me, and then this. Attack speed for basic attacks, bonus to crit damage, chance to slow, and a big hefty chunk of damage that is, well, better than my sword. So, wow, 254, dude, that's pretty massive. Yeah, as a forge you can equip a shield, or you can equip an offhand that deals even more damage, but I choose the shield because it gives me, you know, some damage reduction and some more health. So yeah, feels good making this video. I actually got a new legendary weapon. But yeah, as you see, I mean, I'm not really using it. 50% increased damage for basic attacks sounds pretty good, but the fact is I'm not really using it with this build. And at the moment, I'm not really sure you could respec into a brawler. You know, maybe later, uh, maybe with the Arcanum. It's one of those things. But yeah, currently I'm not really sure you can. Yeah, let's open a portal. Wait one more time. Loading screen, because these happen a lot right now, and that's kind of like the only downside. But yeah, it's been quite a lot of fun exploring this new game. I can't wait to see what kind of you know how the progression of the development goes. And for now, let's level up this tree because we're just short. There we go. Now we have a happy little tree. And it gives me permanently 3% gear luck, which can't be too much, but also can't be negligible. And yeah, I guess we start right here. Okay, third of the way. I wish there was a number that tells me like how much I need, because like when you hover over it, it doesn't show you. It doesn't tell you what it requires, but it will tell you. And don't worry, I will not. You know, when you hover over this item, it tells you 90. You see this number, 90? It means this will provide 90 to the luck tree, but there's no number right here. I'm sure we'll actually get to see the number. But like, yeah, right now it's a pretty cool looking happy little tree, and with this we're gonna call it a video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, see you guys on stream. We're gonna try this game for a little bit more in the next couple of days. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys.